But in the meantime, now, City Power received over 2,000 complaints of power outages due to the fierce hailstorm in Johannesburg on Monday. It says the storm damaged electricity infrastructure, it flooded transformer chambers and further uprooted trees which fell on overhead cables. Now, there are fears of more power cuts as continued rainfall is expected this week. And City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena joins me now to just paint a picture of how bad this damage has been and also has sabotaged their work in servicing the community of Johannesburg. Isaac, thank you for your time and good morning to you. I think I might have summarized it, but what have you been through these past couple of days as City Power? Obviously, with the hailstorm and the thunderstorm, surely you've been inundated with calls from residents due to power outages.
Thanks for having us, Dumelo, and good morning to the viewers at home. We have been through a lot since the past 24 hours. We are still recovering from the heavy storms. Our teams are still under pressure in most of the depots in the region. A lot of work, though, has been done by our technicians and contractors in different depots in different regions. I can say we have tried to move the needle a little, but we are still having a lot of calls. From that 2,000 midday yesterday, it moved to around 3,500 by last night. But because of the teams that we have pumped into most of the areas, we basically managed this morning. We woke up to about 2,500 outage calls from customers in the morning, with the sore points still remaining: Rembek, Hest Hill, around Auckland Park, Melville, Westbury, Lenasia as well is still also having problems. Challenges, as you rightfully pointed out in your intro, include obviously the trees that fell onto our overhead lines, and you'll remember that for that to be dealt with thoroughly, we are at the mercy of our sister company, Joburg City Parks, to assist us in terms of removing that. We obviously recognize the fact that they are also basically under pressure because of, you have seen the amount of trees that basically got uprooted, and they all need City Parks to be able to come through. So even ourselves as City Power, we also have to wait for City Parks to basically assist us so that we can do some of the work. We also had submerged mini substations, washed up cables during the soil erosion, and also those cables that have been exposed. So we really had it hard, especially yesterday, but we managed to basically try to ensure that there is minimal disruptions to electricity supply to our customers.
Yeah, just talking on infrastructure alone, I mean, how much money would you say that you spend per month in maintaining infrastructure now over and above the damage that's been caused by the hail and the thunderstorm?
We spend a lot of money in terms of our maintenance. We obviously with the storms just over about 24 hours ago, it would be difficult to basically say how much it would have cost City Power to basically recover from that. But you'll remember that in terms of the infrastructure, we are also still basically on one side. We were still basically dealing with load shedding. Load shedding has really damaged or has set us back probably 2, 3, 4, 5 years in terms of maintenance, in terms of our infrastructure maintenance, but also in terms of maintenance itself. Remember, during load shedding, the wear and tear of this equipment basically increases, and it means that we keep on. That's why in most areas we kept on having faults and outages that are happening. You remember that these equipments were not really meant to be switched on and off at such short intervals as we have done. We've gone about 130 load shedding episodes since the beginning of the year. So that is a lot for us. That has really affected our resources, both equipment, but also even human and financial resources. So we really are obviously in the red in terms of that. But then when you also have this kind of weather, heavy storms that are battering us, then it really pushes us and stretches our resources.
Yeah. Isaac, I'm sure you've heard the SA Weather Service as well issuing that level 6 warning, saying that parts of Mpumalanga, Gauteng and the eastern parts of the country will be affected. Also, speaking of just Gauteng, then what are some of the contingency plans that you have in place to cushion yourself as City Power? Because I know that you've been appealing to residents for more patience as you continue to do the best you can to restore power. But now when you hear the Weather Service saying it's not going to get, any less, hectic in terms of rainfall, what plans then do you have as City Power to mitigate this?
Look, that will be a difficult one because of this. We're depending on the weather gods to basically allow us to do our work, because we really need to, like I was saying yesterday, most of the work that we're doing was really rebuilding. Most of our equipment was washed up. Most of our cables were exposed. Most of our mini substations were submerged. We need to basically build the bases and put new mini substations on top of there. But I think the other problem that we had was basically the problem from vandalism of our equipment, because most of the vandalism affect the doors. You find that the doors of most of this equipment have been stolen, and as such, water easily seeps through, and leading to the equipment basically get affected by water, and outages happen. So what we've started doing yesterday is basically to ensure that we lock most of those equipment, so that at least even when another rain comes through, there is not much of disruptions that are happening due to those issues. But obviously with the issues of eroded cables and so forth, it will be difficult for us to basically mitigate against that. But we have also brought in more teams, just so that, remember, this is a festive season. Most of the people were already packing their bags, hoping to go on leave. But we have basically requested them to stay longer, so that we can be able to respond to some of the challenges that we're having. And with all those weather forecast and even load shedding still with us, we really need as much manpower as possible, so that even though there is disruptions to our customers, it's minimal, and we are able to restore power as quickly as possible.